Hi, here's my audience. Welcome to my final speech. This is the final assignment for this class, and this class has helped me so much as a person, so I am so excited to tell you guys about today's topic of the speech. We're going to talk about my growth throughout this class. We're going to talk about how I'm going to use the skills from this class in the real world. We're going to talk about my future plans and what I'm going to do with my life, and then we're going to talk about my ultimate end goal in life. And then we're going to wrap this whole speech up by talking about some obstacles I'm going to face and how I'm going to fix them and how I'm going to overcome them. So let's get this started by talking about my growth. I have learned so much through this class, but day one, you could probably go back and watch my first speech. I was cocky. I was arrogant. I thought I knew everything about public speaking because I had some experience. As it turns out, I had a lot to work on. I learned about body language when you're speaking. You can't be slouching and you can't fidget with your hair the whole time. You have to maintain proper posture when you're speaking. Use your hands to do professional movements, and eye contact is a must. I also learned that it's more difficult to write a speech than it is to give a speech. So that's something that I improved throughout this class. And speaking in front of friends and family rather than strangers is a lot harder. It's so much harder to keep a straight face. So being able to learn how to do that and keep a straight face while giving my speeches definitely helped. That's some of my growth in this class. Let's talk about these skills that I just said I learned. How am I going to use them? The skills that I learned, as you can see here, this is me putting some of them to use last year when I was just starting to develop my public speaking skills. They come in handy all over. You can use these skills in a professional atmosphere. You can use them in daily interactions. These skills that I just mentioned, they come in absolutely everywhere in your life. Doesn't matter what career you're going into. If you're going to be a cashier at the grocery store, you're going to be interacting with the public every day. So you have to remember your public speaking skills. If you're going to be an Amazon warehouse worker, that doesn't matter. You're still going to be interacting with people. So this is going to be important. For me personally, I learned that with meetings with my boss or a job interview, those are two very important business settings that I need to learn public speaking skills. Even though it's not necessarily a big, large group of the public, it's still very important to maintain eye contact, proper body posture. It's very important that you present yourself in the manner you want people to perceive you, and I learned that in this class. I also learned that even just day-to-day interactions, talking with my aunts and uncles in the grocery store or, just running into someone while going clothes shopping, those interactions are just as important, and how you come across to them will affect you no matter what, who it is, anything like that, they will affect you. So these real-world skills will help me, and now let's talk about why I think it's going to personally benefit me the most. I plan on finishing out my associate's degree here at Western Oklahoma State College, and I'll graduate in the May of 2025. Then I'll transfer over to Oklahoma State University in the fall of 2025, and I'm going to get my bachelor's degree in Family and Consumer Sciences education. I plan to be a Family and Consumer Sciences educator at the high school level, as well as an FCCLA advisor, which is the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. It's essentially the life skills classes, and the student organization prepares you for real life problems. I plan on advancing through this because that's what I did in high school. I absolutely fell in love with everything associated with it, and that's what I figured I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So you can see why public speaking is kind of important, because I'm going to be a teacher, so being professional and body language, posture, everything like that, it's going to be important when I'm teaching a class. I can't be sitting at my desk slouching while teaching a class. Nobody is going to take me seriously. So throughout this course, I've learned these skills that will help me in the future. I do want to end up being a mom one day, later on down my career. And the most important thing I say for my future is I want to be a difference maker. I want to be the teacher that makes a difference in students' lives, that they remember 5 years down the road past graduation. Hey, do you remember her? I want to be that teacher that makes the difference in the students' lives. Now, this is just my future career goals. Let's talk about the ultimate end goal for me. What I want out of life the most. I want to be a leader with everything that I do. I want to lead people. I want to be a mom. I want to have kids and I want to have a family. I want to own my own home and have lots of animals. Doesn't matter what animals. I want horses, cats, dogs, cows. I want it all. just give it all to me. I want to be a mom and I want to be a teacher. I want to have Christ at the center of everything in my life. I want to have a family getting ready, getting up, going to church on Sunday morning, taking my kids to Awanas on Wednesday nights. I want to be so busy with my kids and my job that I don't have time to think about negative things. I want this more than anything. And I want Christ to be at the center of all it. That is the biggest ultimate end goal for me, is to live a Christ-filled life and have him guide me through everything that I do. Now that we've talked about my ultimate end goal, let's talk about some of these obstacles that might hinder me on my way. So some obstacles that I still face and I know I will face in the future: time management. I tend to procrastinate down to the very last second. I wrote this speech like 2 hours before it was due and submitted it at work on break. So time management is definitely something that I need to work on. And for that, I just need to stay focused and stay on top of things. One way that I do it to myself is, for this class, assignments were due at noon. So I had it in my head that it was actually due at 11:59 the night before. So I stayed on top of all of my assignments and didn't turn anything in late. I actually ended up turning it in a day early because I got that in my head and I knew that I was going to struggle with a 12 p.m. deadline. Another obstacle that I'm going to face here is organization. I tend to get very disorganized. If you've seen my room on a random Wednesday, you'll know I have clothes everywhere. Everything is everywhere. I don't really know what to say about the disorganization part, other than the way I can fix that is just write things down and keep physical organization techniques. Like when I'm in my classroom, instead of just only doing a grade book online, I will have a physical handwritten grade book to keep track of grades, and I can go back and do that. As far as assignments and things of that sort, paperwork, I'll keep those in labeled folders. And for the organization, just gotta do it. Having a journal, a little like a planner, something of that sort is going to be my biggest helper, especially as I'm going on. And then the final obstacle that I feel like I'm going to face the most is financial problems. Now, this isn't something that can necessarily be helped. As I go to college, OSU especially, I'm going to have some trouble paying for things. It's going to be pretty pricey. And for the financial part of it, the only thing I really can see myself doing to help this is save. I've been working my butt off at my job. I work at Chick-fil-A. I have been working and just save as much money as I can. I have scholarships that'll help pay tuition, and then I'll try and get separate scholarships to help with the fees and everything associated with that. But for the financial part of it, just saving up my money and being a smart spender is going to help. Budgeting is going to essentially be really important to my financial. If I write down my spending limit each month, keep a checkbook, and keep track of all of my money from my very paycheck all the way down to my next paycheck, keep track of every penny that I spend, I'll be able to save more money, and this is going to help me in the long run. And that is the conclusion of my speech. And I just am going to wrap this up by saying, today we talked about a lot of key things in my life. We talked about how I've grown in this class. We've talked about my future goals. We've talked about the ultimate end goal. We've talked about how these skills are going to apply in the real world. And we've talked about obstacles I'm going to have to face and I'm going to have to overcome as a person. So I just wanted to say that this class has been really beneficial, and it is going to be something I remember for life. These skills that I have learned will not go away, and I will definitely be using them in the future. Just wanted to say thank you for listening to this speech.